We are facing turmoil in the world. Look at Europe. Look at the dismantling of that economic system. Ireland, we owe the same as we make every year. Ireland owes 9 times. They have an economy of 1 trillion. They owe 9 trillion. There's not going to be a solution for Ireland. There's not going to be a solution for Europe. And we're going to find a world of darkness and of despair, that if you and I aren't those points of light, carrying that light, that fire with us, so that people look at us as the images of God's love in a dark world, in a world of fear and chaos. Friend, that is our calling today. 9/11, that was the beginning. That was a wake-up call. It looks like the world every several hundred years goes through this tremendous repudiation of what it has become. And in our world, we have spent too much. You and I personally. The reason our government does what it does is because we ask it to. We're now beginning to question. But you and I have lived in houses we can't quite afford. We've spent money that we don't have. And maybe you haven't. But if you look at America across the whole, Americans have. They have lived the same personal lives that our government has lived. So understand that when we are disappointed in Washington and we wonder why can't they get along, it's because we don't get along out here. We don't talk to people of different values. We don't talk to people about our faith. People my age will remember we were told, black people don't talk about religion and politics. My friends, we should be talking about both. Because politically, they're dismantling our ability to live our faith lives. And faith is the answer to all. So today, my message is not one of gloom and doom. I simply tell you the storm clouds that are coming. What you do with that depends on your faith. For me, every day we're trying to tighten up this discipline, bringing our family closer around us. We just recently had we encouraged our daughter and son-in-law in Arkansas to sell that business and come back home, where we can reach around and we can embrace each other. We're paying off debt. Because I think that we're going to see very difficult times. It's not that we expect as Christians not to have the storm clouds in life. It's not the storms in life, but it's how we deal with the storms. My friends, we have the answer. We have the light. We're the good guys. In times of chaos, there are people that are going to come to this street and they're going to draw hope from the fact that you're there and giving out the food. That you're here and trying to rebuild structures, homes, Habitat for Humanity. People, more than anything else, need to be renewed, revived, and redeemed. That's an age-old story, one that you and I are very familiar with because we've lived this life of faith. But people right outside those doors have never heard this message, and too often we're keeping it to ourselves. So when I think about 9/11, I think about Rick Briscoe. I think about Vanessa Lawrence. I think about this great nation. I think about when those things around us begin to collapse, when traumas happen. I believe in American exceptionalism. I believe that God was involved with our founding fathers as they created this country. I believe in world history there's never been one country where this kind of freedom is available. And today, too often, I hear people say, it's just too hard. We can't fight to preserve it. We'll just go somewhere else. We'll pick up and move. Good friend I just grew up about 10 miles south of us, looking at Costa Rica. Another one looking at Singapore. My encouragement is for each of us to determine the value of what we have. Abraham Lincoln said, if we lose freedom, if we lose liberty in this country, I'm sorry, it's Ronald Reagan. He says if we lose liberty, we'll lose it for 1,000 years. The 1,000 is just a number. You see, in all of world history, only one has evolved freedom to the point that we have. And we've become complacent. We've become too materialistic. Those things are going to begin to correct themselves. In that vacuum, you and I must have the courage to fight on. As I left Vietnam, I was one of the last people there. The crew that replaced me saw physically the same images you and I saw on TV. You remember the helicopters taking off, those Vietnamese grabbing hold. They wouldn't let them inside, so they grabbed hold of the runners. It was a long flight, maybe 10 miles out to the carrier. They're holding on. If they lost their grip and slipped, they fell down, the sharks got them. Just that idea that I could hold on long enough, I could get there. I could get to there, to the boat, and maybe I could get to America. Because there I can have freedom and hope and opportunity. I can find my faith. I can do whatever. So when I hear people talking about leaving this country, understand that when the helicopters leave here, there's no place for them to land. There's no other place for freedoms like we've had. So again, I'm asking that you would ask yourselves, how valuable is this freedom to worship, this freedom to help, this freedom to explore our total being? What does that mean to you today? Because I think in the next year that we're going to find very great challenges, and if we believe it's too hard, then we're going to give up this blessing that America has been to the world. I know these have been very difficult statements. I know these have been sobering statements. But for me, I look with hope. I look with courage. And I look with the understanding that through God we can do anything. And through God we're going to reestablish the faith of this country as it's being dismantled all around us. And the things that are dismantling it are going to go away. And people will be looking for answers. That, my friends, is the message I take from 9/11. God bless you.